And welcome to Grey County Life on Rogers TV at home this week. And Charlie and I are thrilled to see Miss Mary Jane back in action this week with us because, yes, last week was fun, Mary Jane, but I really like it when you're here.
Well, Rhonda, we haven't seen each other almost for the entire month of March. Here it is, the 22nd, the day we're filming, and I don't think I've seen you since February.
I'm always amazed. My parents used to always tell me that, time speeds up as you get older. And I always thought, oh, phooey, that's just silly. The summer holidays went on forever when you're a kid. But boy, oh boy, we're practically at the end of March. I can't even believe it. It's like Christmas just disappeared. It really does get to go a lot faster, doesn't it?
Well, it does. And I was looking out my kitchen window and I thought there was something odd in the garden. So I walked over to find out what was happening. And my daffodil bulbs are all starting to come up from the earth. I thought it was an animal that had disturbed it. But I have this huge patch of daffodil bulbs and they're all poking up.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And you kind of wonder because it has been a completely wacky winter. Everybody I know talks about it. The fact that, it was a blizzard, snow, melt, blizzard, snow, melt, and even this, March has been, we've gotten off awfully easy this winter, knock on wood. I don't mind not having too much snow and that sort of thing if I'm not skiing and that sort of thing, but it's definitely, you kind of wonder what it's going to do for our crops, for our, delicate plants that need a set time. Even the maple syrup run started early this year, right?
Well, I think the festivals are starting up in April because I wanted to book something for my grandchildren when they were here over March break. And the festivals were all seeing to start in April, so we kind of missed that. But they did go skiing at Blue Mountain and had fabulous time there. So we did have a lovely visit. It's just always difficult for us when they leave a little gift behind, and so we are still recovering from the colds that they left. Managed to escape 3 years of not being ill at all. And so today might be a little slower day for me.
Well, and that's okay. That's quite all right. I mean, we're both in our, our bright spring colors since the first day of spring happened this week, but I'm still feeling chilly. So yeah, it'll be here before we know it. We'll be out in the garden. Actually, and I did see that the peony gardens, they've got a list of special guests this year. I can't wait to get out there to see that. Master gardeners, there's treats to eat. There's instructional sessions. It's going to be quite the event this year, and that's out in Leith. Can't wait for that. That's, all the stuff we have to look forward. And I wanted to mention too, I was at the library this past week. Word Shop. A one-day experience for beginning and experienced writers from 9:30 till 4 on Sunday, April the 16th at our local library. So you get to talk and interact with some local experts on a host of different topics about it. Making books, writing songs, writing your memoir, which, by the way, I don't think that's a good idea until, at least don't publish it until you're long gone, depending on how much fun your memoir is going to be, I guess, right, Mary Jane?
Well, mine might be pretty bland.
Oh, are you kidding, lady? You have done so much in your lifetime. It's incredible. I feel like I'm standing still most of the time when when I'm in your presence. It's not a great feeling, but it's inspiring, though.
You are my favorite sidekick. Let's put it this way. We make a great team, and it's just Been such a joy to be able to do Grey County Life with you. Are you kidding? You are amazing.
Well, I think we're making a very, very good team. It was very lonely for Charlie and I last week when you're not there, I gotta say. But I think today we've got some really interesting guests, familiar faces with some information from the Roxy and from the Billy Bishop Museum, and of course, Adorable Adoptables with Miss Renee, which you would have loved her guest last week, Mary Jane, the cutest cat. Yeah, can't wait to find out. I have a feeling that little kitty cat's got a home for sure, but we'll check up with Renee when she's on. And what else was going on that you wanted to tell everybody about?
Oh, well, March 22nd is World Water Day. And I know that with climate change and things that are happening in our environment, we really need to stop and think about how we use water, to celebrate water, to understand the importance of water, but to also acknowledge that there is a worldwide water crisis. And, every time I turn on the tap now, I think differently about how to use water.
Yeah. It's interesting because I actually had a conversation with a plumber we were checking out a septic, not even the septic, the sewer pipe that goes from the house to the main. And he was actually saying that for our plumbing in our culture, more water is actually needed to flush through those systems because things get clogged up along the way. And it's our conservancy of water that is making more issues in our plumbing pipes and that sort of thing. So it's a catch-22 everywhere you go, isn't it?
I think we just need to be aware and conscientious about how we use water, what we do, and the impacts of, obviously, there was a ripple effect that we didn't even realize there would be.
Yeah, that's right. Well, we're looking forward to our next guest with the Billy Bishop Museum. So stay tuned for more friendship and companionship here on Grey County Life at Home.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
I did it. I need it.
The hero gave it.
And I am alive.
As an organ donor, you can save up to 8 lives and enhance the lives of 75 others. Please go to our website. Pledge a gift of life. You'll be glad you did.
October 5th, 2014, my daughter was hit by a train. She was walking along the sides of the tracks, and it shattered her world.
Welcome back to Grey County Life at home on Rogers TV this week. And we have very special guests. You might have seen our special when Mary Jane and I got to visit these fine ladies at the museum, which was a complete blast. Life experience that I will always cherish, dressing up in the period costumes and visiting the Billy Bishop Museum. We have Gloria and Emily here today, to talk about what's going on at our local Billy Bishop Museum. Good morning, ladies.
Hi, how are you?
Good morning. Thanks for having us on.
Hey, you know what? You're some of our favorite people, I have to say.
Aw, that's so sweet. Yeah, we had a great time. My little maid and I.
Yes, that was fun. A hoot of a time.
Great to have guests.
It sure is. So we understand that you've got a full events calendar coming up, and I have to say, I've been very intrigued about the games night that you're hosting. I think that's a fabulous idea.
Yes, it's every Thursday evening from 4 to 8. We're open late on Thursdays now. If you want to just come to visit, you can. But we have games there, all kinds of games. I think there's board games and card games, and we've got games on loan to us from what was it, Scenic City Games Emporium. They have loaned us some games as well. It's a admission is just the regular $5 admission. Or if you have an open card, of course, that gives you free access. It's gonna be a fun evening. As I said, it's every Thursday from 4 to 8. Just drop in.
Yeah, just drop in. And we're hoping to keep it going through the summer if it's successful, because I think that in the community, a lot of our institutions are open kind of noon until 4 p.m., which is great if you're a tourist or you're on vacation or you're retired. But if you have a family and a 9-to-5 job, then when do you have the time to go out, right? So we're hoping that we get some families in and more local people coming to this extended hours on Thursday. And if you don't want to play a game, that's fine. If you just want to come visit, that's great. But there are some pretty cool games supplied by Scenic City. Some of them are like, I don't know, they have these great role-playing games and like family games, trivia games. So yeah, there should be something for everyone. And then if you like it, you can always go to Scenic City and play more or purchase it, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
It's good. And we thank them very much for partnering with us on this.
Yeah.
We got the old-fashioned board games too, if you're a traditionalist.
Yeah, including Story.
Sorry. Oh, I love that game. I have to come down and play it. Yeah, see if I can win.
That sounds awesome. Now, what else? What's happening around Easter this year?
Well, this year, in the same vein, we're hoping to get in some more families and have just some fun. So on Saturday, April 8th, we're having a family fun day, and that will also include all of the games we'll have out and maybe some arts and crafts for kids and the family, and maybe even a little Easter egg hunt. So you should stay tuned and see what's going to be on the docket. And again, that will be free if you have your open card, and just $5 for adults. Children under 18 are always free with an adult. So it's a pretty good deal.
That should be good. Yeah, that should be a good time. Really good time.
It'll be a great day. And the open card, just so everybody's aware, that's your library card, the new library card that grants you access to lots of different things around town.
That's right, it does. The Tom Thompson Art Gallery, the Marine Rail Museum, us, of course, and of course the library. I don't think I missed anybody.
No, that's everybody. Yeah, but because you get free access to the Tom Thompson Art Gallery, you also get free access to any Ontario art gallery, I believe. There's a full list of the partners who you can go in for free with your open card because of the partnership with the Tom. And I know it includes the McMichael, which is friggin' gorgeous. Love the McMichael.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful. So if you're, doing road trips in the summertime with the family and getting them out and about, having your library open card with you, you get access to these great places.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of road trips, I think the open card partners, we're going to get together and create a kind of a summer passport. So if you go to each of our sites, you'll get a stamp or something like that. And then at the end, get entered for a prize. So that's something that's in the works as well. It's been really great and fulfilling for all of our institutions to be able to work together and because individually, obviously we're all great institutions and we do our little things, but when we work together, a small idea comes bigger and can involve more people in the community, which is really,
Yes,
end goal.
it's a great opportunity to do that. It's nice to partner with those other organizations. And we like to partner with others around in the community as well. For instance, the games people.
Yeah, Scenic City, exactly.
Yes.
Mhm.
Well, and I think we've got a lot of new residents in Owen Sound, and what a great way to get out there, make some friends, make some connections, and get to know what's going on around town. So I just think it's all around a great project.
Yeah, that's the idea. Welcome the newcomers and reinvigorate the ones that have been around for generations.
That's right.
And
That's right.
show them that, you know, there's still lots to do and everything changes. The room that we're sitting in right now is one of our newer exhibits, and it was co-curated by local veterans and features conflicts that were since the end of the Second World War, including Korea, Bosnia, Haiti, and Afghanistan. So there's lots to see and
That's right.
learn about.
This is an incredible exhibit. Lots of really neat stuff. And the biggest exhibit next door is the Afghanistan Ground Truth. And this was, again, another one that's curated by some of our veterans. And veterans of that war have shared their stories with the community, with us here. And you get an opportunity to listen to some of the stories right from the mouths of those who were there. It's a great, great exhibit. It's one of the, to me, personally, it's one of the best we have done to date. And I think it's a marvelous one. It's going to be here right through the year. So be sure to come and see it. It's an incredible exhibit.
We really need to hear those stories. Like, it's really important for us to really truly understand what was happening over there and to hear the personal stories of the men and women who were on the scene at the time and their roles in that. But the other thing too, I just wanted to ask you about is your military heritage trail. Now, this is something new to me, and I'm not sure how it works because this is local. This is right here in Owen Sound.
Correct. Yes, it is. Emily can tell you more about it.
Yeah, we were originally inspired by the idea that Owen Sound as a city is like an artifact. So you can explore your city and see the stories that it has to tell just by walking around and getting to know the military aspects, history aspects, and learning personal stories of the people that lived here before us. So we worked with the city of Owen Sound to create something called a story map, and it's very user-friendly. We have a QR code for it, and also each of these trails is on our website, which you can access on your desktop or on any smart device. And basically it's the same as Google Maps. You can walk along the trail on your phone, and at each stop it will tell you why it's important. You can read all about it. There's photos, historic photos. You can even listen to one of our summer staff. He did a voiceover, so if you have accessibility issues and you don't want to read or whatever, you can just pop your headphones in and listen to each stop. So we have 3 trails right now. We have the Military Heritage Trail, which starts at the museum, and I think there's 10 stops around the city. It takes about 2 hours, and you learn a ton. You don't really have to do it all at once. You can do it at your leisure or from the comfort of your home and just learn on your desktop. And then the second one is called In Their Steps, and that highlights local figures such as like Tommy Holmes. It stops at his house and talks a little bit about Tommy. I think there's like Agnes McPhail, and
yes, there's several ones. I haven't done that one yet.
Yeah, and there's
several people where they used to live here in the city.
Yeah,
some famous names, of course. Tommy Holmes, we know about him.
Yeah,
and of course Billy lived here. But there were other people that were important to the military heritage of this city. And then the final one we've got is the cemetery one at Greenwood Cemetery.
Yeah, that's our newest one that we just launched. And it's fascinating. And the cemetery is such a beautiful place.
Oh, yes.
To walk around. It really is great just to visit those graves and hear their stories. And again, this trail features the 3 Victoria Cross recipients that are interned at Greenwood Cemetery, but it also features other men that have lost their lives in the First and Second World Wars. And also it features Corporal Mitchell, who has his own park that's just a little ways away from Greenwood. So it shows you how to get their directions to get there, and talks a little bit about what happened to Corporal Mitchell in Afghanistan. And then it also features, We have a man who was in the No. 2 Construction Battalion from the First World War, which was Canada's all-Black battalion, and he's also buried in Greenwood Cemetery.
Yes, and then we go to St. Mary's Cemetery as well.
Yeah.
That's out a little farther.
A little further, yeah.
Yes, another person out there as well. It's 3 wonderful trails, so it's a good way to learn the history. And you see,
Is this tool being used in the classrooms? Like I would see this as being very user-friendly for students to understand the history.
yes, it could be.
Yeah, it definitely could be. I haven't heard of any teachers reaching out, but I could definitely try to get in touch and tell them about these trails. I think it might be better for when the weather is a little bit nicer if you're gonna bundle up your kids and go for a little stroll. But yeah, for sure, anybody can do it, and it's free, freely available as long as you have some data on your smartphone.
And it's very good. I've done the one downtown city, the first one, I've done that one, and it's very, very fascinating. I learned stuff, which is good, really nice.
Well, you also have an event coming up that you do every year that has something to do with like fire and ice.
Oh, yes, yes, this is really nice. I just saw a picture of the ring that's going to be available in this one. It's going to be in one of the purses that you have to bid on, which is nice. Fire and Ice, April, what are we talking about? May the 6th, same day as the coronation. So you get up in the morning, watch the coronation, and then that evening you dress up in your fancy and you go to Fire and Ice. Yeah. It's a women's only event. It's got great entertainment. We have a Max Clark performance, like he just plays through the course of the evening. We have a local businessman that serve us. We have a beautiful, beautiful meal. It's at the Best Western, so the meal is really, really nice. It's a wonderful, wonderful evening.
Yep, start off strong with a free glass of wine, and then the evening continues. There's a live purse auction, and the purses are beautiful this year. We have a special sponsor for that, which is secret, so that'll come out later. But inside one of the purses is our beautiful diamond ring donated by DC Tailors. And so you don't know if you're gonna get the purse with the ring in it, but you might just get a double prize.
That's right. That's right. It's really nice. Yeah. It's good. Tickets are on sale now. So if you need one, just contact the museum, billybishopmuseum.org. You can just order it online, and it's good. It's gonna be a fun evening. It always is a fun evening.
Yeah,
fun evening.
Yeah. Well, you've got how many chairs are at a table?
8
at the table.
Okay.
And we say if you have 9 people that you want to come, just buy 2 tables and get some more friends.
That's a great idea.
Right? Yeah.
Come by yourself, come with a friend, come with 7 friends.
And that's Mother's Day weekend as well. And it's May 6th is a Saturday. And so the Sunday is Mother's Day?
I'm not sure if that is.
I think it is. Anyway, if it isn't, you can still get a couple tickets for you and your mom or your grandma or your daughter. And you could even spend the night at the hotel as a special treat. And then, yeah, it'd be a great little weekend.
Yes. So get your tickets early.
Yeah.
There's a limited number.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. I think it's, I think everybody, I know a lot of women friends that look forward to that event every year. Because who is it that's serving you when you're at this event? I mean, we're leaving out some pretty big details here, ladies.
Well, the businessman, Dave Alexander, I think, our vice chair of the museum here, I think he's committee 101s. Another member of our board I think he's planning to service this year.
Yes.
A couple of other people. I can't remember our head boy guy.
Schwinger.
Schwinger, he's been saying. There's all kinds of nice guys that we're serving us.
Yes, and they are the fire to the evening, that's for sure. Sometimes we get a few firefighters, but that's not always guaranteed. So I don't want to promise something that doesn't happen, because those firefighters, they are quite busy.
Oh, yes.
But we do have very, very nice local businessmen that serve us and model the purses quite well.
Well, they do a very good job. Very good job. Yes.
It's a fun event, and it's so nice to have community members come together to support the Billy Bishop Museum, because it's a huge part of our history, and you guys highlight it so beautifully. I mean, the home is just spectacular, and and it's not just Billy's history, so it's very important.
That's right. It's a history of Canada's military heritage as it was here in Owen Sound. And that's what we honor here. That's why we honor veterans every year.
Yeah, that's right. And we are so fortunate to have so much community support, as you say, like sponsors such as DC Taylor's and the Best Western Inn on the Bay and Ron Todd and Associates.
Yes.
All these local businesses turn out every year to support us. And without their help and the ladies who attend and everybody who sponsors and gives prizes, the money that we make from that night, really, it does keep the lights on here. And the price of everything keeps rising. And if we want the museum to look good and be the national historic site and an icon for Canadian history, we have to do it right. And we have, it takes a little bit of money to keep her looking good.
And I want to thank all the small groups, the small companies that donated to us. Even during COVID,
yes,
we still had people helping us out, and thank you.
It's amazing. It's just the generosity of people. It never fails to surprise me, astound me.
Beautiful, just beautiful.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And some of the other things that you do in the summer, you're going to have your Victorian teas.
Oh, yes. Yes, we will.
Yep.
Yes.
Always have our Victorian teas served by my summer staff in their maid outfits, usually.
Yes, no. And we should say that if you, we have our scheduled teas, but if you want to have a little private one, just contact us and we'll try to arrange something for you.
Yeah, you can always give me a call and say that you have maybe a few guests in town and you'd like a private tea and you want it to be inside or outside the museum in the summer. I can always arrange for a private event, or maybe you have a child's birthday party and they want like a teddy bear picnic or something. You can always give us a call and we can arrange something. And we have our own special blend of teas in-house that you can't get anywhere else, and lots of yummy goodies. So it's always a good time.
Well, Mary Jane and I can certainly speak to the delicious tea and treats, can't we, Mary Jane?
We can, and it just sparked an idea because all my daughter-in-laws live outside of Owen Sound. We're all in Ontario, but all in different communities. And wouldn't it be lovely to treat my daughter-in-laws to a Victorian tea at a time when all three of us could be together, or four of us could be together? Yeah. I'm gonna tuck that away, Emily. Thank you.
Good, I'm glad.
Write it down, Emily.
Yeah, I'll write it down.
We'll write it down.
Yeah.
Now we want Gloria to be the maid.
Yeah, she does make a very good maid.
I'll see what I can arrange, and I'll come with stories. And some of them are true.
I think you're right, Mary Jane. That's a fabulous idea. What a great way to show off our beautiful Billy Bishop Museum. That's a fantastic idea. Well, thank you, Emily and Gloria, for coming on today to let us know what's coming up and the tours around town. What a great way to just get out and get some walking done and see some of our sites and our local history. We can't wait to have you back, and we can't wait to see what happens or who gets the ring at Fire and Ice this year. We'll be back after these messages with more Great County Life at Home this week.
I don't care what the law is. I will never be a slave. That word, I hate it. It rests on my tongue like rot.
Peter, how does it feel to get paid for your work?
There are rumors freedom's coming for us all.
Freedom, you know that's all I want.
Chloe, careful. Vroom men would rather sell you across the river to America than let you go free.
Then I'll run.
I've run before. Maybe this time for good.
No! No! Just get her into a boat. No!
Chloe? Chloe, no!
Word of Chloe Cooley's resistance led to Canada's first legislation limiting slavery. After 200 years, slavery was abolished in Canada in 1834.
Hi, I'm Justice. And I'm Nia. And we believe dreams fuel revolutions. That's why we're engaging with Canadian icons and the causes they support. Join us for these inspiring conversations and find out how you can be revolutionary.
Are you the type who would keep going or stop? It's not easy to stop when you have an addiction. Legalizing cannabis won't stop addiction. It trivializes its consumption. Let's be vigilant. If you need help, visit portage.ca.
Welcome back to Grey County Life at Home, and we have some very special guests, because if you're one of our community members who enjoys going to the Roxy for our local shows, and I know there's a lot of people out there who absolutely love seeing our friends and family up on stage, then you might have seen Mr. Jed Phillips on the stage recently. Well, on the screen, actually, very similar to what we're doing today. And I have to say, Jed, I got to do a shout out, because went to see you, me, and a bit of Driftwood, and you and your wife were spectacular. That show was fantastic. It was such a joy, so much fun, and it was just spot on. Between the acting and the writing, it was just fabulous the way you guys interacted. And boy, I saw some of my own family members with the way things played out. It was so much fun, Jed.
Well, thank you very much, Rhonda. That's very kind of you to say. Can you see me blushing on TV? It was a really great, fun play to be involved with, and was certainly very different in the way it was presented. And we have to, I guess, give a shout out to our own member, Samantha Caldwell-Castles, who wrote the play. Did a great job. So
yeah, that was a lot of fun. And we're here today, and we're pleased to have the director from the next big show coming out. Hi, John. How are you today?
Good. How are you today, Rhonda? Thanks for having me on.
Oh, we're very excited. So when did you decide that you wanted to direct this particular play?
Oh, geez. I guess a couple of years ago, when we put forward a play to direct, we need to at least do it about a year to a year and a half before any sort of opening time. So this had been on my mind for quite a while. We had a lot of time during COVID to think about stuff. And my first play that I directed was a murder mystery, Agatha Christie's Mousetrap. And although not a comedy, there was some humor to it, and it was a great mystery. And I actually had a lot of fun with that. So I decided maybe to stick with that theme, but I wanted something with a little bit more of a challenge. And a farce is actually quite a challenge. So James and Ken Ludwig, I acted in one of his plays years ago, Moon Over Buffalo, and he's a hilarious playwright. So this play just seemed like a perfect fit, mystery and farce as well. So it's been a good laugh.
Yeah, my gosh, people have no idea really how much time and energy and planning go into these events and these shows.
Oh, I agree. We have a cast of 8, but we have a crew of about close to 30 people. And then, of course, the hours that we put in for rehearsal over the past, close to 4 months. But then, of course, the months of building up, and then set crew, they're coming in on their weekends and off time to set up. We have props. A lot of our props are actually made by our prop people because they're not, it's better to make it sometimes than to be able to rent or buy these props. And sometimes you can't. Sometimes you have to make it. And we have quite an imaginative group of people at the Roxy. The interesting thing about doing a play is that we always focus on the actors, which are great performers. And I have a great cast. I have an incredible cast. But what's really fun to see is people get a chance to really show all sorts of other different skills, and hair and makeup and costuming and set design and set building and prop manufacture, all of it. And it's a lot of time and energy. Thousands of hours, I think, go into it. Really, you can't account for it all. So
yeah, it's definitely a team effort, isn't it?
Oh, for sure, by all means.
Yeah, my goodness. So when is this show on at the Roxy, just so everybody knows when to expect this and when to get their tickets?
Okay, so we open 2 weeks tomorrow. So tickets are already available at the Roxy, and we open on April 6th, Thursday, April 6th, and we're open from April 6th, April 7th, and April 8th. So the first Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and then the following week on April 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th. So the Wednesday to the Saturday. So we have 2 full weekends of shows. So 7 shows altogether.
I already have my tickets.
Oh, fantastic.
Your season followers every year for decades now. And And so whenever we do interviews for the Roxy, I've already got my tickets.
Oh, that's good to know.
Now, and Jed, as an actor in productions, and two back to back, what kind of a time commitment? I mean, this is a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly can be, Rhonda. We were very lucky, Jane and I, to have the ear, that John saw that we could do the job and gave us the parts that we have. Thank you very much. But Kevin Haxel, the director of the last production, we were actually filmed when we did that. We weren't live in the building. So you can appreciate it was a fairly small part. So it didn't take an inordinate amount of time, but Jane and I spent probably close to a month rehearsing. And then they dovetailed it with everything else that took place. So, and yeah, we started, didn't we, John? I guess first week of January.
Yeah, that's right.
Our first read through in December. So that gives you an idea of how long we've been at it from the acting side of things.
Wow. And John, going into the project, would you have, because we've got a lot of local actors that we see on the stage, did you have ideas of who you wanted in each part ahead of time?
Well, we always try to keep it equitable and open for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to get into that trap of committing yourself to certain people. One, because you want to open it up to every member and anyone that's interested. And two, you also don't want to be pigeonholed. You want to try and have as much of an open and a diverse attitude when going in. Of course, you can't help but picture some parts filled by certain people. That happens. But that doesn't necessarily mean it guides you. I had tons of people to choose from. I could have cast this show probably 5 or 6 different times. There was a lot of talented people that came out. In the long run, this felt like the best mix, and it is a good mix. But I had so many talented people come through. So I felt I wasn't, even though I had some images of what I thought, I wasn't bound by those. I try not to be anyway. So
yeah. Go ahead, Mary Jane.
Rhonda, I just wanted to ask Jed about his character Felix. And like, are you going to give us a little hint here? Are you the murderer?
Yeah.
Is it more than a little hint, Mary Jane?
All is said and done, no one's really quite sure. So it's Felix is one of William Gillette, the main character's acting troupe, and has been with him for 20 years. And he and I play his foil, I think. I'm his buffoon. And I think we'll put the cast in the show.
Mm-hmm.
It's a wonderful show because it has a mixture of mystery and farce, which I think is a great combo. Wouldn't you say, John?
Yes, I'd say so. Indeed.
There's a lot of detail to keep people on the edge of their seat. At the same time, we keep those details pretty funny, I think. So.
I would almost argue that Jed's character Felix and his wife Madge are the only normal people in the actual show, and that they're actually Jed's character might seem like a buffoon, but it's because he's a normal person, almost supplanted into an insane world around it. A lot of eccentric characters, not insane, that's a bad word to use, but eccentric for sure. And so it's a unique situation, and that's what brings about the humor. You have normal people placed into very odd scenarios, and that's where the farce comes from.
Yeah, pretty extraordinary circumstances. So
exactly.
Wow.
So I'm curious, Jed, because you and Jane are a married couple, and you have often been in the same place together. It would be interesting, like, what is your breakfast conversation? And do you and do the two of you rehearse together, like just in your own home?
Yeah, even though you'll find the character that Jane plays and the character of Felix that I play, we don't have any interaction on the stage much, other than physically. We don't exchange lines. But yes, we run lines together all the time, John, all the time.
Of course.
I think
sure you do.
Run lines all the time. And yes, it's hard. During COVID, I was on the board as John is now. And we spent a lot of time working, even though we weren't putting on productions, the thing we love to do, we were trying to keep the old girl open. And it's quite a job with that big bad building down there. So, but we're back to normal now, and hopefully people will come in droves to see this show.
I think they will.
Millions. That's what we're hoping for.
Millions upon millions.
Millions. Will you go back on the stage next, John, or do you like being in the director's seat?
I'm not sure. I do like directing a lot. I really enjoy it, and it's fun because you get to. It's interesting because when you direct, you get to be in the thick of it. You have the vision, and then you see it build around you, and then all of a sudden, once dress rehearsal happens, you're not needed. You're like the guy who retired and sort of just putters around the office, but they're like, is he going to go home yet? Because you're not. It's a really interesting feeling. All of a sudden, you're not part of it anymore. So that's the sad part. But it is nice to be able to direct and work with so many people in such a larger capacity. But I do like the stage as well. So I'm not really sure. I will put into direct again for sure. But it does take a lot of time and energy and acting, and I still love to perform. So I'm not sure. Probably a show will be next, I think, for me to act, and then hopefully direct in the near future if I'm given the opportunity again. So
yeah. Now, Jed mentioned that you're a member of the board at this point.
Yes, I am. I sit on the Roxy 10 years ago, and then I took a break. And but yeah, I've decided to just get back. It's nice to become. What I like about being part of the OSLT is that there's so many different avenues to get involved in, and sometimes it is. I found myself at one point, wow, I'm having all this fun and I'm not taking any responsibility for how the organization is run. And maybe I should. So I did that about 10 years ago for a couple of years in a row. And then I took a bit of a longer hiatus than I expected and decided maybe it was time to come back and sit as a director. And I'm a director on the board, and I'm enjoying that. I'm not a politician by any sort. I'm not a person who will become a president and lead in that way, but I enjoy having a bit of input and taking some responsibility in the future of the Roxy and the OSLT.
Well, and when people realize, I mean, as you say, it's as basic as we need to pay the bills. We need to keep the lights on. We need to make sure that the toilets are working. There's so much on top of the productions that you guys put on that, behind the scenes need to be taken care of.
Mm-hmm. It is an old building. It's a lovely old building. And sure. I the Roxy, I remember when I first went, the first movie I ever saw was Return of the Jedi there. And it was a bit of an old building then, so it was, and it's, but it's, I think we're very successful because we have such a dedicated group of people. And the OSLT is a group that you can't help but fall in love with, so it's something that is really part of you. We have members that have been part of it for 50 years or more, and people that come in stay. Most of us stay for a lifetime or pretty close. So
yeah, it's a fabulous group to be a part of.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I enjoy it. I moved. I was away from town for about 11 years, and I came back in 2007 when I was 30, and Mike Ray, an old teacher of mine, a director of mine, he was a very active member of the Little Theater at the time, and he got me into it. I'm like, I haven't done anything like that since high school. That's child's play. He said, no, just give it a try. And I did. I was in Hamlet, and I loved it. And after that, I was hooked. So
kind of as a board member, and somebody, I mean, what kind of a time commitment? I'm just thinking if we've got some people out there that I've always considered it.
Well, you're meeting once a month for sure, but those meetings, depending on the situation, usually go longer than expected, as anyone who's ever been in a meeting knows. So, it's going to be an hour. It's going to be an hour. No, it's not. It's not going to be an hour. It's going to be 2 or 3 or 4. And there is a lot of discussion. It's easy to get invested in ideas and invested in what you want to see come about. But of course, as a board member, you need to also be pragmatic and understand that you need to look for a balance, and dealing with things. It is a lot of commitment in many ways. In other ways, it's not. It's a year-long commitment. And if you take on an executive position like secretary or treasurer or vice president or president, that's an even bigger commitment, which I did secretary once. that was a bit too much for me. So I like to have some free time. So, but it is a bit of a commitment, but it's an enjoyable because, again, a place that you're so in love with, you have an opportunity to try and ensure that it's still prosperous, and it's nice just to see how things work.
And there's also, if I could interject, there's also we have a very reasonably priced membership, as do other clubs, and that's what Owen Sound Little Theater really is. It's a club of people who enjoy putting on performances and love to perform in front of people.
Yeah.
Put those performances together. And I think for the cost, if I'm not mistaken, John, it's only $25 to become a member.
Yep, very cheap.
It gives you an opportunity to be part of what we do, a member volunteer. So there's lots of ways you can join in. You can work as a bartender, you can work as an usher, you can work as a construction set builder, things as simple as that. And all those things have varying degrees of commitment. But I think it's almost wrong of us to say it's commitment because it's so much fun. When I think of acting, with the crew we've got this time around, it's just an awful lot of fun, and I love to play, and that's what we do.
I agree, and yeah, there's so many different opportunities. If you don't want to stand on stage, there's plenty of opportunities off stage.
Yeah,
and to showcase some incredible skill and talent that has come forward.
For sure. I was just thinking, in particular, John, our props people, Debbie Morris and Paul Welsh, they're some of the best in community theater, I think.
I think you're right. They built incredible props. Sorry, I jumped in there, Jeb, but yeah.
Yeah, no, they go above and beyond and are so inventive. And Paul's a genius when it comes to things. The gentleman who's in charge of our construction and stage design, Paul Nicholson, he's just a genius as far as.
Oh yeah, Paul Nicholson was a mentor for this. James Moyes was the designer and lead builder on this. He's a contractor in the area, and Paul Nicholson, who's done tons of sets in the past too, was a mentor to James during the show. Both incredibly talented builders in many ways, both on and off stage.
Well, I hope that this inspires some of our community members to maybe make that leap and join the club.
I hope so too. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, it's okay. It's a fabulous group, and boy, are we ever lucky to get to enjoy the fruits of your labors. We really appreciate everything you guys do. So we're looking forward to seeing you, Jed, on the stage again. Really looking forward to it. And we hope everybody gets out there and gets to see the games afoot in April at the OSLT.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to say also our show is also made possible by sponsors. Pappy's Eatery and Lounge and Quick Print. They've been kind enough to sponsor our show. And we have seasoned sponsors, Brandon Realty, Caframo, the Little Family and Tammy Law, and they're seasoned sponsors. So it's nice that local companies are helping maintain the vibrancy of art and culture in Owen Sound.
Hi, I'm Sharon Skelly, host and community producer of Community Close-Up on Rogers TV. We're back in studio after about 2 years with some great programming. Join me on Community Close-Up, where we meet great people from groups and organizations around Owen Sound and Grey County. And remember, it's your community, so take part. Join us again on Rogers TV or online.
Hi, I'm David Shearman, host of Politically Speaking. Join me for my next show where my guest will be Brian Milne, Warden of Grey County. Politically Speaking on Rogers TV.
Welcome back to Grey County Life on Rogers TV at home this week. And it's time for our favorite segment, Adorable Adoptables with Miss Renee. And Miss Renee, who's this beautiful ginger?
This is my buddy, Sunny. And Sunny makes every day bright. If only we could just do that, right? Oh, yeah. This guy is a love bug. As you can see, he's quite okay with sitting here and getting his chin scratched, which, I mean, he's dropping a bit of white hair on my blue shirt. But other than that, it's a totally wonderful experience. Sunny is a 10-month-old, recently neutered male. He has been, of course, neutered by our Spay Neuter Fund. We've had him recently done, and he doesn't seem to be bothered by it at all. Thank goodness. He is fully vaccinated. He's been dewormed and defleed, so all of his vetting has been done, which is the advantage of adopting from here for sure. And he is one of many cats, because as you've noticed, we've had cat for a little while. Spring is springing. How do we know? Because that's how we know. It seems with us, in the winter months, we see a bit of a decline in cats for two reasons. One, people are home and loving their cats, and because they're stuck in the house. And number two, the cats have no interest in going on adventures when it's cold outside. We don't blame them. But as soon as that warm weather hits, and I must admit this winter was a little weirder, we had more cats than usual throughout the winter as we had warmer weather. But the warm weather hit, the influx in cats and kittens has now started. And this is that time of the year where we start to, tell people, if you've been thinking about it for any period of time, now is the time that we really need you to help. For example, this fella's only taken up one space. Thank goodness, because he's just one. But we have two mamas here that have babies, and both of those babies are new. So those mamas are going to be with us at least 8 weeks, taking up a spot, and their babies, if not more than a few spots. And as everyone knows, we are a no-kill shelter, so we rely on those adoptions to make space. Now, in this guy's case, thank goodness, it's just one space. So once he leaves, someone else can come in, which is wonderful. But with the others that are going to be here a little while, we sort of feel a lot of pressure, because we're like, oh man, what happens if we end up with 6 mamas? We then potentially have 6 cats taking up a whole area for a period of time. So we're looking for adopters. If you have something you're looking for, maybe you want one of those tiny baby kittens and you want a phone call as soon as they're ready, we can certainly do that for you. Additionally, if you're somebody who has a cat that is potentially coming into heat in the near future, I want you to call me so I can give you some low-cost options. The idea is we don't want any more mamas. We can certainly not be able to help you directly, but we can provide you with numbers. Oh my goodness, you're so handsome, of people who can help you do that. We are seeing over the years a reduction in the amount of animals at the shelter. Yay for that. But as vetting gets harder for people, we're finding that the increase is very possible in the near future. So definitely give us a call so we can connect you with the right places to go for that. And additionally, maybe you're somebody who has a spare room in the house and you'd be interested in fostering a mama with some babies for a period of time. We would absolutely love to talk to you as well, because it is something that we will need. And again, so those mamas don't have to sit here for a period of time. I mean, we're looking at 3 months by the time babies are grown and mama gets fixed. So it's not the best scenario, that's for sure, for them. He is fallen asleep here, which is okay. This location is warm.
Go ahead, Mary Jane.
Oh, well, I wanted to ask you, Renee, if you have any words of wisdom for folks, because we have Easter coming up, And a lot of families think that it's a great idea to get live bunnies for their children at Easter. So what are your recommendations?
I always tell people, if you're someone who's going to commit to that bunny for the next 10 to 12 years, it's okay. If you're not, then don't even think about it. If you're not 100% sure how long you can commit to a rabbit, there are rabbit rescues. And I would recommend going that route, as they often have older rabbits, 5 years of age or 4 years of age, that are in need of a place. At least then, if you're going to do it, you've done it responsibly, you've taught your children about adoption, and you've considered the commitment level. The bottom line is, I'm somebody who has adopted a rabbit on Easter because it turned out that way. You know, we went to a petting zoo, cute little kids, cute little bunnies, kids wanted a bunny. And we had, her name was Soup Soup, 8 years. And I knew what I was getting into at that period of time. So it worked out okay. But people need to be aware of that. The pet stores are not necessarily providing you with that information, but the rescues absolutely will. Know what you're getting into. And certainly if you're going to do it, just be prepared to do it forever. It is harder as they get older for them to be relocated and to be rehomed, especially if they've not been socialized as well as they should have been, which tends to happen as we get less interested in our pet bunnies. They become harder to place. That doesn't mean impossible, but harder. So if you aren't sure where your children are going to be in 5 years and aren't sure that they're going to still want this bunny in 5 years, adopt somebody older. And then it's not quite so bad because you're only looking at a couple of years versus potentially 10. I mean, we have seen some extraordinary cases where rabbits have lived 12 years in the right environment. And that's a long time if you're not prepared for it. It's a lot longer than a rat or a hamster would be, that's for sure. And the amount of mess and cleanup and food requirements are greater too. So make sure you do your homework.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's the biggest message. Do your homework before you choose a pet.
Absolutely. Do your homework. Know what suits your lifestyle. And by all means, you can always reach out to us if you're not sure. We are a collection of people here at the shelter that have had a lot of pets. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. Even if they weren't our own personal pets, we've had them here at the shelter. So, and we know the animals personally. We know where they need to be. Let us do our job. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
So basically, go to the petting areas for the bunnies, enjoy them and love them while they're there, and then just take the memories home.
Absolutely.
Not the bunny.
Exactly. Take the pictures.
Yeah. Take a picture. Any luck with your cat from last week, Miss Renee?
Oh, yes. Adopted. Everybody's adopted. We are at 100%. So it would be very nice to see this little fella go as well. And we'll be smiling again next week for sure.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Miss Renee, and bringing this lovely ginger. Who doesn't love a ginger? He's very handsome. Guy. Yeah, and very lovey-dovey. So everybody likes that in a cat. So we look forward to getting an update next week, and we wish everybody a safe and happy week. We'll see you next week on Grey County Life at Home.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.
It was John's graduation. We were so proud. We all got together for a picnic. That's when we heard coming from the radio. So we stopped and we listened. It helped us get to safety. That's why when I think of John, because now he has a real future to look forward to.
Everybody knows not to drink and drive, but some people still think it's okay to take drugs and drive. Police have the authority, the ability, and the tools to determine if drivers are impaired by legal or illegal drugs. And because drug-impaired drivers can